Welcome to another Fairy Tale Forensics. This time, we're tackling a story we probably all thought we knew, Hansel and Gretel.
We're going to uncover the genuinely unsettling stuff hidden beneath this seemingly simple story.
Get ready for a wild ride, because we're about to blend folklore, psychology, forensic analysis. Buckle up.
Hansel and Gretel is a dark tale of survival, cunning, and betrayal. A poor woodcutter's family faces starvation. The stepmother convinces him to abandon their children, Hansel and Gretel, in the forest. Hansel overhears and leaves a trail of breadcrumbs, but birds eat them. Lost in the woods, the hungry children discover a house made of candy and gingerbread. It's a trap set by a witch who imprisons Hansel to fatten him up for eating while forcing Gretel to be her servant. When the witch asks Gretel to check the oven, the clever girl pushes her in instead. The children escape with the witch's treasure, find their way home to their repentant father, and learn their stepmother has died. Their ordeal ends with the family's fortune restored.
We're using two sources for this deep dive.
Layering it up.
We've got the original Grimm fairy tale,
Of course.
and this really interesting analysis called Fairy Tale Forensics.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It is, and, it kind of treats these classic stories like crime scenes.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, like you hear it as a kid, and it's all gingerbread houses and spooky woods.
But when you look closer, Hansel and Gretel reflect some seriously real anxieties.
Especially about poverty.
Abandonment, too.
Oh, and definitely exploitation.
All those things. So let's get into it. So the story starts with a family they're on the brink.
Right.
They are starving. And we're not talking like, oh, we need to eat soon. Starving. We're talking like, we might not survive this. Starving.
Yeah, and that level of desperation, that scarcity mindset, that is key here. Like, that's really important for understanding their actions. Because it changes your decision-making when you're at that level of desperation.
Extreme poverty can warp your choices.
So one night, the parents are talking, and the kids overhear them
Oh, boy.
talking about what to do about the kids.
I mean, you can imagine this scene, right? Like, just how quiet they must have been. You can hear a pin drop,
Yeah.
and the parents are probably whispering.
And the he doesn't want to do it.
No, he's torn up about it.
But the stepmother's like, look, we're all going to starve to death
Yeah.
if we keep them.
Right.
So, and it's like, this is the thing that really kicks off the whole adventure for them into the woods, is this decision that the parents make.
Right, because they decide to abandon them.
Yeah, they decide they're going to take him into the forest and leave him there. And this is where we see Hansel's cleverness come in.
Oh, yeah. He's a sharp kid.
So he overhears this whole conversation
Okay.
about how they're going to get taken into the woods, and they're going to get a piece of bread, and they're going to be told to gather wood, and then the parents are going to go off to chalk wood and leave them. We kind of gloss over it as kids, but that is some seriously messed up parenting.
Because they decide to abandon them.
Yeah, they decide they're going to take him into the forest and leave him there. They're straight up neglect and even premeditation.
Wow.
It's intense. But, okay, before we totally throw the parents under the bus, we should probably consider the context here. So the parents' decision, as horrifying as it is to think about, like, leaving your children in the woods to fend for themselves.
It shows how poverty and desperation can push people to do some pretty desperate things. It's like your brain is just fixated on right now, survival at all costs. It's the engine of everything, right?
Yeah, it's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, it's dark.
Yeah, it's like a very dark fairy tale.
Right, right.
So that night, when the moon is out, he sneaks out
Okay.
and gathers a bunch of white pebbles to take with him.
So he's got a plan.
Yeah. So the next morning, it's like, off they go.
Into the woods.
Into the woods, they always get this little tiny piece of bread.
Just a little bit
Yeah.
to last who knows how long.
Yeah, the parents are like, don't eat it all at once. And so as they're walking, Hansel keeps dropping behind.
What's he doing?
And the father's like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm just looking back at my little white cat on the roof.
Oh, is that what he says?
Yeah, and the stepmother's like, that's just the sun shining on the chimney.
Oh, she's cold.
Yeah.
But really, he's dropping those pebbles.
He's dropping the pebbles.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah.
So that they can find their way back.
Yeah.
That's really smart.
So they get deep into the forest.
Okay.
And the parents are like, okay, gather some wood, and he builds a big fire. And they tell him, like, oh, we're going to go cut some wood, and then we'll be back for you.
Oh, wow.
This is so sad.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So, of course, the kids, they eat their little piece of bread, and then they start hearing what they think is their father chopping wood.
Oh, no.
But it's just the wind.
Oh, it's like a branch.
Yeah, a branch hitting a dead tree or something like that. So they fall asleep. They're exhausted.
Yeah.
And then they wake up and it's dark. And Gretel's like, oh my gosh, how are we going to get out of the forest?
Right. It's terrifying.
But Hansel's like, don't worry, we just have to wait for the moon.
Because of the pebbles.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the moon comes up.
Okay.
And they can see the white pebbles
Shining.
glittering in the moonlight.
Like a path.
Like a path. So they follow it all the way back to their house.
Oh my gosh.
And they get there, in the morning.
Wow.
And the stepmother's like furious. Where have you been?
Yeah.
Why did you sleep so long?
But the dad must be so relieved.
The father is overjoyed, like so happy that they're back.
What a scene that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If this were to happen today, there was a very good chance that they would be facing murder charges.
Absolutely. I mean, you're intentionally leaving your children in a situation where there is a very good chance they will not survive. That's essentially murder.
But this is not the end of the story.
Oh, no.
The famine gets worse. And so the stepmother's like, we got to take them back to the forest.
Oh, gosh. She's relentless.
Yeah.
So does the dad agree again?
Yeah, he agrees again. But this time it's even worse.
Oh, no.
Because he knows what they're going to do.
Yeah, he knows how bad it is.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So Hansel tries to get more pebbles, but the door's locked.
Oh, no. She thought of that.
Yeah, so he can't get out to get any pebbles.
He's really serious this time.
Yeah, and he's like reassuring Gretel, like, don't worry, I'll figure something out.
Okay.
So they get their little piece of bread again.
Even smaller, probably.
Yeah, even smaller this time.
Oh, my gosh.
And
So what does he do?
he crumbles it up
Okay.
as he's walking and drops the breadcrumbs. And, the father's like, what are you doing? And he says the same thing, like, oh, I'm looking at that little pigeon on the roof.
Oh, my God. He's using the same excuse.
Yeah.
But it won't work this time.
Yeah, it won't work because breadcrumbs.
The birds.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they get taken even deeper into the forest this time.
Oh.
To a place they've never been before.
Where they can't possibly find their way back.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
And then it's the same routine, We're going to go cut wood. We'll be back for you.
Yeah.
We'll build a fire.
You know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and so this time Gretel shares her bread with Hansel.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
She's looking after him.
Yeah. And then they fall asleep,
Of course.
Of course the parents don't come back.
No.
So they wake up and it's dark again.
Oh, gosh.
And they're like, okay, we're going to follow the breadcrumbs.
Right.
But all the birds have eaten them, so they can't find their way.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
That's really sad.
So they're wandering around for like 3 days.
3 days. Wow.
Yeah.
Lost in the woods.
Just trying to find their way out. And they're starving.
Oh, my God.
They find a few berries to eat, but that's it.
Yeah, they must be desperate.
They are lost. They're starving. They are desperate for any sort of comfort. Their senses would be heightened, like they're vulnerable.
Yeah.
And this is when
What
they
happens?
see this beautiful snow white bird.
Oh, a bird? What?
Yeah. And it sings this beautiful song, and they follow it right to the witch's house.
No.
So, I mean, what do we make of it? It's like
Yeah.
this bird appears out of nowhere,
Yeah.
sings this amazing song,
Yeah.
and then basically points them,
Right, to danger.
yeah, to this gingerbread house.
Wait, what a gingerbread house.
Yeah, a house made of gingerbread.
Like literally made of gingerbread.
With a roof made of cake,
No way.
windows made of sugar,
You're kidding.
covered with cakes. Can you imagine
Yeah.
seeing that when you're starving?
Oh, it would be so tempting.
Right. And of course,
Yeah.
Hansel, he immediately wants to start eating it.
Okay, yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you found a gingerbread house,
Hansel starts breaking off pieces of the roof.
Yeah.
Gretel's nibbling on the window pane.
this is amazing.
And then this voice from inside says, nibble gnaw, who's nibbling at my little house?
Oh my God.
And they're like, it's the wind.
The wind, yeah, right?
They're busted.
But they keep eating it.
They're hungry. Hansel takes like a huge chunk out of the roof, and Gretel pushes out like a whole window pane. And then the door opens, and this old woman comes out.
Oh.
She's using crutches. She's like really old.
An old woman.
Yeah. And they're like, oh no.
Right.
But she's all nice. She's like, oh, you poor children. How did you get here? Come inside.
That's creepy.
Yeah, I'll keep you safe.
Oh gosh, I don't like this.
Yeah, so they go inside,
Okay.
and she gives them all this great food, like milk and pancakes with sugar apples.
Wow.
Yeah, and they get these nice beds with clean white linen.
Oh, she's treating them well.
Yeah.
This is weird.
But she's a witch.
Oh, she's a witch.
Yeah. And she's been luring children to her house
To eat them.
Yeah.
Oh my
to
gosh.
fatten them up and eat them.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, pretty messed up.
Yeah.
So the next morning,
Yeah.
she grabs Hansel and locks him in a stable behind a grated door.
She's not messing around.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So once she catches Hansel, she tells Gretel to cook something good for him.
To make him fat.
Yeah, to make him fat.
Oh God.
And Gretel's just crying all the time.
Oh, that's so sad.
Uh,
Poor Gretel. Yeah.
And the Gribbs make it very clear that Hansel gets the best food
Okay.
while Gretel gets
What does she get?
crab shells.
Crab shells. That's a terrible.
Right. Like,
Gretel?
yeah, it's not fair at all.
No.
But focusing on Hansel for a second,
Yeah.
that which she wants to make sure he's gaining weight,
Okay.
but her eyesight is bad.
Oh.
So she makes him stick out his finger so she can feel if he's getting fatter.
Right, right.
But Hansel is clever.
Yeah, he's a smart kid.
And he tricks her.
What does he do?
He gives her a little bone instead of his finger.
Oh, that's clever.
Right.
Yeah.
And this goes on
For a while.
for 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is where it gets kind of interesting.
Okay.
Because we can think about it like from a scientific perspective. Like, how much weight could Hansel really gain in 4 weeks?
Right.
Even if he was eating the best food.
That's a good question.
So the text doesn't tell
Yeah.
us exactly what he's eating. Maybe some guesses
Yeah.
based on, what people ate back then. Probably things like bread, maybe with butter or fat,
Okay.
maybe milk, porridge,
Okay.
stuff like that.
So like calorie-dense foods?
Yeah, like high-calorie foods. Would have been easy to get
Yeah.
and, to gain weight, eat more calories than you
Right.
burn.
Right.
So if Hansel was eating,
Yeah.
let's say 500 extra calories a day
Okay.
for 4 weeks,
Yeah.
he might have gained maybe 4 pounds.
Okay.
But that's just a guess.
Yeah.
We don't know how old he was,
Right.
how much he weighed to begin with, or exactly how much he was eating.
So there are a lot of factors.
Yeah. But the point is, the witch is full by the bone every single day.
Yeah.
So he's probably not gaining that much weight.
Right.
Which means maybe Hansel wasn't eating all of it.
Oh, yeah. Could be.
Right?
Yeah. He's a clever kid.
He's surviving.
Yeah. He's definitely surviving.
And this is on for 4 weeks.
4 weeks. Wow.
Yeah. Can we talk about the witch for a second?
Oh, boy.
She is something else.
She's definitely a fascinating subject for psychological analysis.
One of the sources called her Candy House, a sophisticated predatory methodology.
Wow. That's a mouthful.
Right. But it makes sense. It's all designed to lure in unsuspecting victims.
Hmm.
Like, come on, who just happens to have a gingerbread house lying around? That took some serious planning and effort.
Exactly. And it implies this wasn't her first gingerbread rodeo, if you get what I mean.
Oh, for sure. And then there's the whole cage thing, the forced feeding.
Hmm?
The way a farmer fattens livestock.
Yeah.
Pretty creepy stuff. Super messed up. Makes you wonder what those gingerbread shingles were really made of, right?
Let's not go there. But on a serious note, this actually aligns with real-world criminal profiling.
Really. So her MO, the candy house, the imprisonment, it all points to an experienced offender. And let's not forget about all that wealth she's got just lying around. The jewels, the lavish house. Where'd she get all that?
Yeah, the story conveniently skips over that part.
Makes you wonder how many other kids fell for that gingerbread trap before Hansel and Gretel came along.
Right. If we were treating this like a real crime scene, we'd be looking into missing children reports.
Local legends, rumors, anything to suggest a pattern of this kind of behavior.
Any other stories that might, match the witch's MO?
100%. Yeah, you'd be building a profile, you'd be looking for patterns, and you'd have to consider, were Hansel and Gretel her only victims?
Right. And it gets even darker from here, folks. We kind of tiptoed around it the last part, but
You mean the whole,
the cannibalism aspect?
it is definitely implied, right?
Oh, absolutely. Force feeding isn't just some random act of cruelty, This is calculated. We're talking about a seriously disturbed individual here. And when you consider the isolated location of her house, the unexplained wealth, yeah, it all adds up to a pretty chilling possibility.
Hansel and Gretel might not have been the first to stumble across that gingerbread threshold. If this were a real-life investigation.
We'd be looking for a pattern of predatory behavior.
Right. And it might go back years, even decades. It's really chilling when you start to draw those parallels.
It's like something out of a true crime documentary, except we're talking about a fairy tale, which I guess is the point of what we're doing here, right?
And the witch is getting impatient.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And she's like, I'm going to cook him tomorrow, whether he's fat or not.
Oh, my gosh. This is the climax.
She tells Gretel to heat up the oven.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she's like, okay, we're going to bake first.
Yeah.
You go check and see if the oven's hot enough.
Oh, gosh.
But Gretel
Knows what's up.
is like, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
How do we check if it's hot enough?
Right.
And the witch is like, oh, you silly girl. Just open the doors, look inside.
Oh, no.
And she does it.
Oh.
She leans into the oven,
Oh.
and Gretel pushes her in,
Oh, my God.
slams the door, and locks it.
She did it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the witch screams as she burns up.
Oh, my goodness. What a moment.
Yeah.
That's intense.
So Gretel runs to the stable, lets Hansel out,
Yeah.
and they're so happy to be reunited.
Oh, I bet. So they escaped?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they go back to the witch's house, and they find all these chests full of pearls and jewels.
Wow.
Yeah. And they take some with them.
Okay, good for them.
And they set off to try to find their way home. And they come to this big lake.
Another obstacle.
Yeah, and They're like, how are we going to get across? And then they see that white bird again.
What are the chances?
Yeah.
The bird's back.
The bird's back.
That's amazing.
And it helps them get across.
Really? How does it help them?
It carries them across one by one.
Oh, wow. That's so sweet.
Yeah, so they get across the lake.
Okay.
And they start walking. And then the forest starts looking familiar.
They're getting close.
And then they see their house.
Oh, my gosh.
And they run inside.
Yeah.
And their father's there.
He's still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Wow.
And he's so happy to see them. But the stepmother's dead. Yeah, she
Ah.
died while they were gone.
Okay. The stepmother died while Hansel and Gretel were gone, and the witch is dead too. Maybe they were the same person. Because if this is true, Hansel and Gretel were in way more danger than we ever realized.
Whoa.
Hmm.
That's not just a coincidence, right?
And where was the stepmother while all this was happening? The story doesn't say.
Another point for the theory. If she's the witch, she's busy doing witch things. But hold on. The witch is described as a woman as old as the hills using crutches. The stepmother, not so much.
That's the tricky part. Maybe it's a disguise. Or maybe years of, witchcraft aged her prematurely.
Right. And the father. He's heartbroken when they're gone, overjoyed when they come back. Would he be so clueless if his wife was a cannibalistic witch?
Maybe not. But remember, she manipulated him into abandoning them in the first place. Maybe he had no idea what she was really capable of. When you start digging, things get really interesting.
All right, so motive. Why would the stepmother, if she's the witch, do all this? The story makes it clear she's cruel, pushing the father to abandon the kids because they're starving.
Yeah, the original text says she left him no peace until he consented. She's ruthless, putting herself first, no matter what happens to her stepkids.
Fairy tale forensics goes even darker, saying she kills men's wives, marries the husbands, gets the husband to leave the kids in the woods, and then eats them. Like, that's straight up serial killer stuff.
Exactly. It's manipulation, but on a huge scale. She controls the husband at home, and then she becomes the predator in the woods.
And that candy house. Classic predator tactic. Lure them in with sweets, pretend to be nice, and then bam, dinner time.
It's all a facade. And think about it. Maybe the stepmother wanted the kids gone, not just because of the famine, but because they were competition. Competition for food, for a pension, for everything.
Getting rid of them permanently solves all her problems. Brutal.
Brutal, but effective.
Getting rid of the kids isn't just about surviving the famine anymore. It's about control, power, maybe even feeding a terrifying hunger.
And let's not forget the witch's wealth chests full of pearls and jewels, where'd she get all that, could be from, well, let's just say a long career.
So connections between the stepmother and the witch.
They're both cruel, willing to do anything to get what they want. They both manipulate, but in different ways. And the opportunity. The stepmother sets everything up perfectly for the witch to take over.
It's like we're looking at two sides of the same coin. Maybe the real villain was hiding in plain sight all along.
Exactly. Hansel and Gretel weren't just up against a random witch. They were up against someone they should have been able to trust. That's way scarier. It's like Hansel and Gretel stops being just a fairy tale and becomes this, sharp commentary on social responsibility.
Right. Like, what can we do to create a society where families don't end up in such dire situations?
And honestly, I think those questions are just as relevant today as they were centuries ago when this story was first told. And that's what's so fascinating about taking these classic fairy tales and really dissecting them, because they're not just lighthearted stories. There's some really dark stuff in there. And when you really start to unpack the story of Hansel and Gretel, it is really, really dark.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for indulging my curiosity and walking us through all these twists and turns.
Always a pleasure. Until next time, sweet dreams.
Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Or the witches or the stepmothers. You know what I'm saying?
Fairy Tale Forensics is a co-creation between Amir Mizrach, the author of Fairy Tale Forensics, True Crime for Make-Believe, and Google Notebook LM.